My name is Jonathan Morgan. I'm co-founder of Kotani Pay. A bit about myself before I dive into our expert panelists. I spent 15 years in the financial services industry. I look young, but I'm not young anymore. What is Kotani Pay? Kotani Pay basically is a licensed on-off-ramp startup based out of Africa. We enable stablecoins to off-ramp in 13 countries without the need for internet or bank account. So users send an SMS and they can withdraw cash. Yeah? So that's basically what we do and a bit of my past life. Today we have expert panelists from diverse background. We got payment tech, we got cross-chain AI payment, we got card issuers, as well as on-off-ramp. Yeah? So we'll dive straight into it. We'll start with Alice. Tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Alice and I am Vice President, Head of Digital Assets at Nuvei. I cover the whole APAC region. Nuvei is a payment tech company. We provide card processing, card acquiring, banking as a service, card issuing, and also pay with crypto. Our clients would be the top exchange in the world, top 10, top 15, and all of the custodial or non-custodial wallets. You will not see our logo at the front end because we are the infrastructure payment partner for all of the crypto projects. So I have been in banking and finance for more than 15 years as well. Actually got the experience in Australia, Singapore, and also Vietnam. So that's a little bit of introduction about myself.
Thank you, Alice. Elsa?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Elsa. I'm Managing Director of Payments and Innovations and DCS. DCS is founded in 1973, so with half-century banking legacy from a traditional financial institution. We are from Singapore, but we are expanding APAC and even globally. A little bit myself and come from traditional banking industry background and also be in Web3 space since 2017. So I joined DCS because we are doing something exciting, like bridging the traditional financial institution to, like, say, Web3 space. Stablecoin as a one payment tool, so we are the bridging and enabler here. Nice to be here. Thanks.
Mike.
Everybody, welcome, and thank you for having me. I'm Mike Massari. I am VP of Research and Partnership at AEON. AEON is a company that does decentralized crypto to crypto, crypto to fiat, and AI payment. We enable over 20 million merchants over the world to accept crypto payments on any token and any chain. And at the same time, we allow people and customers to pay with any other token on any other chain or fiat money. We do this also on AI as more recently. So we have an AI agent that allows other agents to perform actions and pay for these actions with crypto stablecoins and regular tokens, as well as fiat money online.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Rosy. I'm COO and Head Partnership at AliX Pay. AliX Pay, we have the mission to make the crypto more accessible and more practical in everyday use by the end users. And we are doing the infrastructure provider for on-off ramp for crypto payment solutions like QR payments and crypto card. And we focus on Southeast Asian countries and now expanding to Africa and Latin America. So thank you so much for having me today. And I hope this discussion will be helpful for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. So you know our expert panelists, they're from conventional financial system as well. So they know how the traditional financial system works, as well as when we dive into Web3, that's basically the expertise are. So we'll go straight into the question. Number one, when we always talk about stable coins, the first question that comes, or first in the top of the mind, is payments. Yeah. So let's start with the basic fundamentals so that everyone is on the same page. What do you think is the most compelling value proposition for stablecoins based payment that is more meaningful compared to traditional finance? We'll start with Alice.
I think there's a lot of core value proposition of stablecoin that you already know about. I would like to just summarize it in one word: stablecoin is a programmable money. So that means you can program it, you can build everything on top, you can build yield, you can have staking, you can have liquid staking, and that's the beauty of stablecoin. That's one of the value that's why we are here today and using stablecoin.
Thank you, Alice.
Yeah,
Mike.
I couldn't agree more. I also think that, compared to traditional money, traditional money works great if you are in the right country, in the right business hours, if you have the right bank account. While stablecoin really, because of the programmable nature and because of the global nature, they are always available. So they make effectively economy be much, much faster than traditional money and much more versatile than traditional money. I think that we saw the rise, obviously, over the past few years of stablecoins, and now there's so many different ones, especially because there's so many niches use cases and so many value proposition that the different stable coins have. So I will think that in the future we will see much more, but already we're seeing a big boom, which is just proof of how much value they actually provide every day.
And just to add on a little bit, like say for stablecoin now, everyone is talking about it, but it's mainly on cross-border remittance and B2B business. But back to like say consumer payments, then what everyone is caring about. Now everyone kind of have the idea of a stable coin, but if you make stable coin more close to daily lives, you still have a way to go. Yeah.
Wonderful. Rosie?
Yeah. My panelists already told about the advantages about the stablecoin, but I think that there are many people here. They are really new to the stablecoins. I would like to give a really simple example for that. If you want to transfer money to your friend outside of Vietnam, for example, so you can send them by bank transfer. You go to the bank and you make the transfer to the bank account. And if what is in the weekend, so you need to wait until Monday for the transaction to process. And the fee is around 3 to 5%. But with stable coins, you can do it instantly. You don't need to wait until Monday when the bank opened, and the fee is, I think, just less than $1 just for the gas fee. So it's the really example for simple example for everyone to understand the advantage of stablecoin compared to the traditional payment rails. Okay.
Wonderful. Very good sharing. So basically, stablecoins transcends borders and is where money never sleeps. Truly, right? Because even on weekends, it still works. Now, let's switch gears a bit in terms of full traditional payment stack. Yeah? Where do you think stablecoin is already overlapping with some of the traditional finance and products, and that you think that stablecoins will still need improvements? Yeah? We're going to start with Elsa.
Because can we have the question again? Sorry.
So basically, we know that stablecoins is already gaining waves, and is competing with traditional finance, right?
Yeah. So just as I mentioned, everyone is talking about the stablecoins and say there will be some threat to the banks, to the card scheme. But as a card issuer, actually I'm the side of Visa, MasterCard, Union Pay, and all these card schemes. Because without the card network, no merchants will accept stablecoin at very first stage. If let's say no merchant networks, no let's say QR payments, all stable coin, and only the cross-border B2B business will happen. So if we're talking about stable coin adoptions in the traditional threats, so from my point of view, is the threat to the SWIFT, to the traditional banks for the B2B settlements, as Rosy mentioned, the settlement delays because crypto or stable coins is 24/7, 365. But for us, if we have this card, like say crypto card or stablecoin enabled cards with all the card scheme networks, regardless Visa, MasterCard, Diners Club, Union Pay, you can use this card whenever the merchant is accepted. So card network actually is far closer to our consumer payment and also far more closer to our daily lives. So to me, like say card network play a very important role here, even though stablecoin is taking place and is rising. and it's more to the traditional banks and the transforming at the remittance level. But consumer level card network is still very, very important. Yeah.
How about, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think that Elsa put it very well. In a word, really is utilization, right? And ability to transact with stable coins in a regular world, right? Because if you think about fiat money, one thing that is fantastic is that you travel to different countries, and as a consumer, you have your own bank account with your own credit card or debit card. You can pay with your local currency, and then obviously the merchant in that country receive whichever currency they want, right? And they get somewhat fast settlement in that currency with somewhat low fees. But with stable coins, we actually have an opportunity to improve that and to do much, much better. If you think about a card or you think about payment products in general, and even what we do at AEON, you can have the possibility to make the stablecoin really liquid and really transactional, much more than just global remittance and business-to-business remittance, but also truly mass adoption. I think, to answer your question, John, requires a better user experience. Now we're in a position where if you use crypto, whether it's stable coins or not, effectively you have to create a new bank account for every time that you use crypto on a different app, right? Because you have a different chain and then you have a different token and you need to bridge liquidity, you need to know about what a wallet is, what a bridge is, you need to know about slippage. All of these things, they don't exist in traditional finance. Swift eliminates and credit cards eliminate all of that. And that's where we need to do, that's where we need to go for stable coins mass adoption truly.
For Alice, I want you to share, where do you think stablecoin is already overlapping with traditional finance, and what else we still need to improve for stablecoins?
I will give you some different perspective from institutional point of view, because we are a payment processor, one of the top 5 global, and we work with a lot of institutionals, local bank in different countries as well. So stablecoins, everybody know that it's very great for cross-border payment. It's great for the end user as well, because the end user can have the inclusion. They don't, some end user cannot have a bank account. They cannot have a card. So stablecoin is the only tool they can use to transfer the money cross-border. So yeah, it brings in the inclusion and transparency as well. Everything can be on-chain. But there is 2 things about stablecoins that I think nobody actually mentioned it before. First thing, if you understand about the traditional history of banking, you need to know that there is a concept of singleness of money. Meaning, if you have $1 from a JP Morgan bank account and you have it in a Chase bank account, it should have the same value. But if you have $1 or USDC in crypto.com and you transfer it to Coinbase, it's not going to be one-to-one anymore. There's always slippage, there's always network fee that you have to pay. So the singleness of money concept is not there. So if you're saying that stablecoin is the revolution of money, of traditional finance, that is not acceptable. That's the first thing. The second thing is, with the stablecoin, you can use the US dollar. Most of the stablecoin nowadays are US dollar, which is the dominant currency. And you are using it in the developing countries, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. Then what's about the local currency? You are going to lose your economy. You are going to be dependent on another country's currency. So that is a red flag from the institutions and from the nation's point of view. So that's to summarize your question. The answer from my end is, what is the benefit for the end user is all clear for us, but what are the challenges? If we don't have the support from the government, from the incumbents, from the nationwide, the stablecoin will not last. And of course, you can have your own stablecoin attached to your local currency, but again, it's a concept of the singleness of money.
Very insightful. Rosy, anything to add?
Alice have her own perspective from the institutional things that she is in, and I have this same idea with Mike, because currently we are doing like something, the infrastructure for the end users. So for the things that stablecoin need to improve to be the better, like for the better solutions for the end users, I think that is for the regulation. Because we still touch the fiat. Even we use stablecoin in the merchant or even in the cash, it is the card. So the merchant still receive the local fiat, right? So the regulation, the consumer protection policy need to be clearer for stablecoins. So yeah, that's what I think it should be.
Thank you.
Just a little bit, like say, stablecoin is just providing an option, like an additional option, like say real for everyday use, like B2B or consumer payment. Because for merchant perspective, also user perspective, they don't really need to care what the currency is. It's just a mode of payment. As long as I can pay it out, the merchant can accept, it's solved.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Alice, ask me a question. Ask me what do I think.
Okay, John, what do you think about your own question?
Let me share my perspective as well.
Thank you, John.
So basically, I built in Africa, yeah? And where it has an overlap, we think that there's an overlap, but it's actually not really. To what Alice have mentioned in terms of how stablecoins has enabled financial inclusion and poverty, there's something that the banks can't do. So we work with UNICEF, for example, in World Food Program, and they want to send universal basic income to refugees to elevate poverty, to bring financial inclusion. But these refugees don't have a bank account. So even Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, for example, they donate millions of dollars to elevate poverty in Africa. Africa is a continent, right? It's not one country. There's 55 countries in Africa, yeah? And how do you get these funds through bank accounts, but these are underbanked and unbanked? You can't. But through stablecoins, we create a blockchain wallet in every SMS phones on the planet that you can use stablecoins to convert to local fiat, to mobile money wallets, and the user with a $10 SMS phone can go to the likes of any 7-Eleven, send an SMS, and withdraw cash without internet connectivity. I'm talking about 2G, 3G, offline cross-border payment transfer. Can the bank do it? No. Okay, so this is one of the use cases. I think that we have been doing that for 5 years ago. It's not proof of concept, it's not MVP. Yeah, this is on the ground running, and we have been transforming lives only via stablecoins. Okay, so just to add a bit more flavor of what's happening in different continents, and they're sharing from, Asia as well as APAC. Yeah. Now, in terms of competitive advantage, one of the key traits of stablecoins is global by design. Not limited to borders, like what Rosy says, not limited by weekends, time-bound. Now, in terms of this global nature, what real benefits it brings in cross-border transaction? Alice.
I think we have kind of like answered this question before in our panels, but I can summarize it. I think the benefit would be 24 hours availability, programmable money, and you can just access it anywhere. I want to add on one thing though. It's not a benefit, but maybe the disadvantage is that the distributions is not there yet for some of the stablecoins.
I agree.
So in the world, there's only 2 or 3 major stablecoins that you can actually, people using it nowadays. But even then, the minting and the burning of those stablecoins can be very hard to approach. So yeah, that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
I mean, I agree, and I do think that we talked a lot about this.
Cross-border specifically, yeah?
Yeah. But you mean cross-border specifically, it's a little bit of the bank account metaphor that I was saying before, right? So you effectively, imagine you have to make a transaction, and this transaction spans 10 different countries because you're in a supply chain, and then you need to go from one product to the other, and then shipments, and then countries and remittance all over these. with stablecoin, you can just effectively use the same currency throughout. You can, as Alice correctly said, you can program the currency. There's also another thing that we didn't talk about, which is the trust minimized nature of stablecoin. With banks, especially in developing countries, especially, for example, in Africa, you need to trust the bank, you need to trust the government, right? These are countries where sometimes inflation is very high, sometimes banking system is not very reliable. So the trust minimization entity that stablecoin have by design really makes your money yours, as opposed that your money the bank's, right? You don't have to trust the bank to have the money. And, you know, spoiler alert, even in the US or in, you know, what we call first world countries, your bank doesn't have the money. If everybody goes to the bank today to withdraw all of the money that there is in your accounts, your bank doesn't have it. And with stable coins, the money is actually yours. It's in your wallet, it's available anytime. Because it's actual real money. But in traditional finance, this is definitely not the case.
Rosy.
Do you know that Vietnamese have the community in Africa, in some countries like Angola or some other countries like Mozambique or South Africa? I don't mention to some countries in Asia like Japan or Korea because the working, like overseas working population there is high, so they have more than one method to transfer money back home. But if with the Vietnamese community in Africa, they traditionally usually have two options. First with the bank and second with the remittance services. So what I mean here is in the terms of remittance or cross-border payment, when they want to transfer back home, they only have that two kind of options. But with stablecoins, they can transfer it like easily, instantly. And the bank branch or remittance offices, they're usually in the big cities. So it's really like not easy to accessible for those who are in the remote area. So that is, I think, the case for to show the benefits of the stablecoins for the cross-border payment.
Thank you, Rosy. Elsa, anything to add?
Yeah, so we see that all stablecoins are building their affiliate networks. What they are really focused on is the off-ramping part. Because, like say, in APAC, in Africa, in Europe, everywhere in the world, the main challenge is like at current stage, because not every merchant accepts stables. They're still using fiat in daily lives. So the challenge we see is like the liquidity provided for the off-ramping partners, and how you can do it legally and safely for the off-ramping to still fulfill the current situation. Definitely in ideal situation, everyone's holds stable coins, we don't need to off-ramp anymore. Then providing that, well, current stage where we see them moving forward, is now we need to solve the liquidity issues of the off-ramping business. So this is a lot, like say, stable coins and also the partners, what they are working on is their corridors for the off-rampings. Yeah, if we can solve this problem, now card networks, like say, as an issuer, because we partner with Visa, MasterCard, all this, they already solve in a way. Yeah. They just need to tap at the POS, the machines, then the local merchants, they direct settle with fiat. So they don't have this challenge. It's whether they, for example, in Africa, whether there is enough POS to accept Visa, MasterCard network. Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge we are also facing. But another challenge for stablecoins definitely is the off-ramp liquidity. Yeah.
Thank you for your insights. Ask me a question also again. Okay, so I want to touch more points on this part. Yeah, in terms of cross-border, I'm going to share a bit about Africa as well. There's a lot of minings, critical minerals over there, diamonds, ori, zinc, you know. And whenever they use a bank transfer for cross-border payments, it takes 28 days to transact. 28 days. Do you have this time to wait? So don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying the importance of the banking system. But there's a lot of fragmentations of payments and system in the financial system. But stable coins actually streamline this. So with stable coins, you're able to transact across border T+0, same day. Maximum T+1. You just have to wait 1 day in comparison to 28 days. Just imagine that. Yeah? Coin98, super wallet, Conviction. You're able to create a digital wallet just with 1 click. And you can start to transact with great partners like this. FinFan, for example. They gather all the different corridors, 50 MTOs, to transact and to elevate GDP in Vietnam. These are some of the examples of how stable coins could actually elevate different economies across border. Okay? Now, adoption. Yeah? So we have already talked about technology, the benefits, cross-border, and so on. Now let's talk about adoption. What trends have you seen that is pushing more businesses and users towards adopting stablecoins? Alice.
We're talking about the future.
Or even present,
I can share a little bit about the future of payment because I work in a payment company. So as you can see the histories of the payment, you're using cash, and then you are using card, and then we are seeing more and more the future of payment is machine to machine. So you are using your POS, swiping your card, but now you're using your phone. Phone to POS, it's machine to machine. And we are also working with in-car payment as well. So we're working with Massari to develop the payment that you can just sit in your car, driving through convenience store, and the car already have the wallet inside and pay for everything that you want to buy. So your car is your house, pretty much. So the machine-to-machine payment trend. For stablecoin, what we are seeing right now is what we call agentic AI. So if you are a trader, you do a lot of trading, and you can actually instruct your AI to buy things for you online. And if you have stablecoin in your wallet, in AliX Pay or in Coin98, for example, you can just attach to it and ask, hey, I want to buy this one, or I want to buy this hotel, or like a room night, or flight ticket with this range, and just use the stablecoin in my wallet. So, but sometimes all of those transactions can be micro as well. So that's the new trend of using stablecoin. And then this merchant will receive the settlement in either stablecoin, or it can be back into the fiat. So those are the trends that we are seeing today. However, it's come back to my the challenge that I just mentioned before. The singleness of money is not there yet. That's why it cannot increase the adoption so much, so fast, because, hey, I had to pay so much fee for the gas fee, and I had to pay for the transfer fee. It doesn't make sense. I can just use my fiat. So yes, that's just my mini sharings of what is the future of payment.
Thank you, but thank you for that. And a lot of people still think cash is king. Even my grandmother still thinks why do I need stable coins? So in terms of adoption, Rosy, what's your point of view? What do you see?
For the experience, for payment experience, the next one, I think it can be the invisible form. Like you're already using cash, a physical card. So how about your biometric? Just using your face, your fingerprint, or even your smile. I saw that some advertisement from China, AliX Pay. They are research for that, or maybe they already deployed that. So why not?
Yeah, what we've mentioned and what Alice mentioned is exactly what we do in AEON, for example, right? So we have the very first AI crypto-to-crypto, crypto-to-fiat payment method. If you think about all of the things that we mentioned, a lot of these already exist, right? So paying with your phone, scanning the QR code, these are things that people do every day. And what I think we enable as a group and what we do at AEON specifically is enable crypto in general, not only stablecoins a big part of that, to be transacted in a similar way that fiat is. But on the AI front specifically, even with traditional money, like ChatGPT, for example, and the various language models, they're very smart, and you can ask whatever question, they hold the absolute knowledge, right? But if you ask them to buy a book, they cannot buy a book. And this is what we try to solve, for example, because by having what they call agentic AI now, even with traditional money, AI cannot buy a book on Amazon for you. With AEON, we're actually allowing people to connect their wallet to our agent, and then other agents to connect to that, and effectively transacting the reward with stable coins and all of the perks that we talked about. So the global nature of it, the programmability nature of it, the instant settlement, the instant remittance, they all apply. So this is effectively how all of the properties and all of the things that we discuss come into a real world use case that is really the evolution of payment and is the future of money. I do agree with Rosy that user experience is still not quite there. As I said before, you need to know about wallets, you need to know about chains and all these kind of things, while, your grandma or my grandma, they do understand the concept of, I tap the card, maybe, or I pay with cash and then I get a service. They do not understand the concept of I pay with a stable coin and I get a service. So I think that that's what we need to work on as an industry, better user experience overall.
Mike touched a very important point in terms of, things that are not there yet. A lot of people are over-promising, stablecoin can do this, can do that, can elevate lives. You need them. But what are the areas of improvements? Areas that a lot of stablecoin projects have overpromised but under-delivered. We want to know that. Rosy, what do you think?
I think the part that under-delivered is that mainstream accessibility. Maybe all of us in this panel know about stablecoins, how to use it in their daily life, but not everyone outside, they have the chance to connect to it. Because first of all, regulation again, and the second is the infrastructure readiness. So this kind of innovative solutions need to connect to the existing payment rail currently outside, so everyone can touch it, can use it. So that's what I think that is under-delivered globally, not yet.
Thank you. Elsa, anything to add?
Yeah, so just touch a little bit, because we see under-deliver or mass adoption, because we need to see the fundamental, which is the infrastructure. So for example, in Vietnam now, I did a quick research, about 21% of the population holding in any form of crypto. That's about 21 million of people, population here in Vietnam. But we see the trend for the infrastructure building from internet. Like I say, till now, we still have some areas, the internet infrastructure is not stable. If I want to using any QR payments or any, advanced payments, it's not working. If you're talking about mass adoption, then you need to carry everyone together. So that's about, we see the trend from cash, from card payments, and now from QRs and all this, we see the trend. But the stable coins to daily lives is still, from mass adoption, is still far one step or few steps further. We need to solve the infrastructure. And we don't really change user habits. It's provide alternative solutions for users to do the convenience of consumer payment. Yeah.
Alice, what do you think?
If you're talking about the promise of stablecoin, then you need to understand the history of stablecoin first. What was the promise? Stablecoin was built for 24 hours trading, because in the past, we can do some stock trading, but it's not 24 hours. Yeah. And the second point is it was used to be used as a capital flight. So you can move the money from developing country to another countries and using USD-backed coin. And I think they kind of deliver that message already for those two purposes. And the new purpose or the new promise now is for the settlement, right? Or the adoptions of the end user, from the retail end user. I think we are getting there with the address of the challenge that, hey, we need to reduce the gas fees or reduce the different blockchain. There's a lot of EVM project out there already. There's a token that can move from one chain to another. and can reduce all of that friction. So I think it is very interesting. That is the third use case of the stablecoin that I can see.
Wonderful, thank you for the insights. So basically, a lot of things still has to be done, especially infrastructure. Yeah, Tether and Circle has done a good job in provide liquidity. If you know, last year, just by USDT, Tether moved close to 23 trillion US dollar globally. Combined with Circle, it is 27 trillion US dollar. That's 7.7% more global volume compared to Visa and MasterCard combined. This is publicly available information, yeah? So what does it tell us? It tells us that there's a lot of businesses, cross-border organizations are already leveraging on stablecoins. However, having said that, there's still a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built, a lot of utility, a lot of education even of why users need to adopt these new digital assets that's going to change lives.